Hello and welcome to Eliances TV on the Wake Up America Media Network. I'm David Kogan and I'm your founder of Eliances. We're the place where entrepreneurs align. We hold our weekly roundtable, which features a number of prominent individuals and companies every week. We also have a grand table event that is approximately every 5 weeks, where we bring in a number of other individuals and have a large event located in Scottsdale, Arizona. It is my pleasure today that I have two co-hosts with me. On my left is Kevin J. Burke. He is an entrepreneur, a mentor, an angel investor, has started a number of different companies. In fact, he was one of the first to invest with iMemories, Unicorn Media, and is also owner of AZ on the Rocks, and is starting another company where he is the founder of Service Guru. On my right, it is my pleasure to have who we call the Navigator, Don Hanna. He has over 5 decades and has built over 5 decades of experience and has built over 20 successful companies that have operated in 33 countries. He's worked with Lee Iacocca. He was the personal advisor to Michael Jackson, and he was the finalist for Inc. Magazine Entrepreneur of the Year Award. And today, our featured company is Cybersponse, and we have the CEO here, Joe Loomis. My pleasure to have you here today, Joe. Thank you. So let's jump right in. Joe, what's Cybersponse? Sounds cool name. What is it?
So Cybersponse is the technology to help organizations protect their critical information, their private information, your identities, your healthcare records, and help operationalize their team. Currently, right now, there isn't anything out there. You've got a market that is growing rapidly fast, and there's a lot of organizations, hospitals, banks, universities don't have the manpower in order to defend these type of networks. And our technology provides that gap.
Well, certainly every time I turn on the TV, there is a new threat, a new scare, and it goes directly to what's happening within security. So great. How does your product work? How is it a service? Is it hardware, software, or what is it?
It's both. It's services and it's hardware and software. So what it is currently, let's talk about the current problem. The current problem is that we all know that cyber is growing rapidly fast. There's a massive amount of demand for cyber analysts and cybersecurity individuals. Unfortunately, as we know, there's not a lot of curriculum in universities to train anybody in these areas. So it's almost like an afterthought to a typical career or individual. So now you have a massive demand, yet a very small supply. So now you deal with, let's fast forward to an organization. Organization has, say, the need for 20 people, a large organization, enterprise company, but they only have 5.
All right.
So how are we going to do the work of 20 with 5 people? Well, we're going to do that with our platform technology. We're going to militarize a team equivalent to like you would do with a SEAL team, where they're very, very deadly and dangerous, but very focused, calculated, and coordinated, very tactical team. Rather than currently how it is today, using email and spreadsheets and ad hoc and chaos. It's very chaotic, it's very disorganized. We create military structure inside of a commercial entity.
Excellent. All right, Kevin, what do you think? I mean, what do you think? What's your opinion on this?
I think obviously this is a very hot space, clearly, and there's a need for it. I just have a few questions around exactly where your product fits in the kind of the cycle. So do you prevent attacks, or do you deal with attacks after they've happened, and internally how the organization would deal with that after the fact?
So most attacks today can't be prevented. That's the problem with cybersecurity. It's called a zero-day attack, which means is you don't know the vulnerability that you don't know. And so these exploits that are happening is now that the economy and in the industry mindset is that you can't prevent an attack. So let's assume for a second that you've admitted now that, okay, we can't prevent every breach and every compromise, and that we're going to be attacked, and they're going to steal information. So what our tool does is helps respond to that effectively. It's equivalent to the 911 call that you give to fire services when the building's on fire. They've got a very structured, organized method of response. It's very calculated, it's very efficient, it's very coordinated. We do the same thing when it comes to dealing with the different types of attacks. People don't know this, but there's attacks going on by the hundreds of thousands every day. Just this year alone, there's been over 500 breaches. Now, we might not all hear about that, right? We all hear about Target. We've heard about other big names in the marketplace. They're like car accidents. You only hear about the big ones. Doesn't mean that there's not happening 10 or 15 car accidents a day in every city in America. And that's the dangerous thing, is the out of sight, out of mind, fear of, sense of security, false sense of security that happens with security.
The danger of not knowing.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Navigator, Don Hanna, what's your view on this?
You mentioned that you don't have any competition. That surprises me. It seems to me, with all of these brilliant young people coming along that are so computer literate and have all sorts of things going on, and the explosion of IT, that there's no competition. Tell me about that.
There is competition. It's email, spreadsheets, ticketing systems, and we also have a close competitor that's trying to do what we're doing, but we're such a fast, agile company building technology rather quickly that it's often difficult to know what we're going to come out with next. We lived in stealth mode for over a year, and when we showed up, our product was light years ahead of the rest. And that's kind of our motto of the competitive, secretive nature of security, but at the same time, understanding that we're competing with your traditional day of communication and coordination. Currently, I mean, how would you coordinate a team right now in your market? You would send an email, you'd copy a few people on it, you'd give an instruction out. But then what happens after that? How do you know who's doing what? How do you understand situationally how the team has responded or acted on that instruction? It's like running a football team. Could you imagine trying to run a football play through email when you don't know when each player is receiving their email? The quarterback is throwing the football and the wide receiver hasn't even left the scrimmage line. The blockers don't even know the ball was hiked. And so now you have a very chaotic environment right from the start. And that's really what traditional companies are relying on right now. And that's why every breach is over a $6 million price tag, no matter how big it is, because that's how expensive it is to deal with the chaos. And that's what we're aimed to go. Our goal in life, it really is to solve chaos. And make it
and
structured.
So you're focused on the businesses, and what about the consumer end? Is there any plans? Do you have anything for the consumer myself? I mean, what do you?
So what we do for the consumer is we partner with companies like LifeLock here in town, other identity theft leaders out there, and also awareness. There's companies like LastPass, a free password management tool that you can use to help encrypt all your passwords. There's free email encryption services out there that we've partnered with, a company called Virtru. These companies are very agile young companies, but at the same time offer free services to the consumer to protect all their passwords and potential compromises.
Excellent. All right, Kevin, what's our challenge question?
Deployment. Where are you guys at with deployment? With whom? If you can discuss that. I know some of the stuff is confidential, but can you talk about where you're at and who you're dealing with?
So we have a couple of big deployment opportunities right now that we're engaged with large manufacturers, airlines, very large financial institutions, a couple universities that are actually working with us right now. And we're also an on-premise solution or a secure cloud solution. So we do either. Some organizations need it inside their network, and some organizations are okay with it being in the secure cloud with Firehose. I would say that by the end of the year, we'll have probably a couple dozen customers, and then after that, it's a hockey stick, race to the moon.
Unbelievable.
Awesome.
Well, Don, I mean, you've had so much experience. You've seen everything going on, and the whole internet boom and coming and that. I mean, what other questions?
Hey, I'm a 50s trip, I come from a long time ago. But I'm actually, I live on internet. I mean, I couldn't live without it.
Great.
Let me ask you, my wife is a hospice nurse, and of course she's subject to the HIPAA rules about everything. It seems to me your services would be exactly what they would need to further secure what they're doing right now. Am I right on that?
Absolutely. With 2015 and the requirement for digitalization of healthcare records, every hospital is going to need a security operations team in order to protect all of that data that they're now digitalizing. And that is dangerous. To think about how many hospitals, how much manpower is out there to go around for every hospital in America. There's not a lot. They're going to have to create efficiencies with our technology.
How do you find the staff for your company to even to build what you've got going on? I mean, as far as it just seems such a race in that. How not what the secret sauce is, but how do you stay ahead each time with each of the breaches? Because you mentioned that you don't know until it happens. How do you? How do you stay ahead of it?
It's a very, very tight margin of trying ever getting really ahead. I think in the way that the economy is and the way that the security industry is every professional is going to tell you they're always going to be behind the 8 ball. It's just where your place lives. They're always going to be high pressure. In regards to the staffing, I think working with ASU and other universities and building a curriculum in order to create a little bit more of a bandwidth and a manufacturing facility of analysts and cyber professionals, I think is another big win that I'm working with.
So we need it more taught in the schools, that aspect of it.
Have to have some degree-focused universities on cyber. ASU's, I'm talking with them about that, as well as University of Delaware just stood up the first cyber college.
Really?
It's going to be an explosive market.
Unbelievable. And Kevin, what do you think?
I think it's awesome. And huge potential, obviously, and you're solving a very big problem within this space. So I think a lot of huge opportunity here.
Fantastic. Okay, Don, any other last
Well, we certainly
things?
read about it with the Target thing and all the rest of it, and so you're right where you should be. That sounds
Thank you, sir.
great.
Yeah, I
Very
mean,
exciting.
'cause all the time, it's just continuously. And you're right, the nervousness is what's not publicized, what we don't hear about. Like you said, I mean, great analogy to car accidents. I mean, definitely something that we need tight, something that is a need out there.
I think Joe's analogy about the football sounded like the Cardinals several years ago.
Right, yeah, great, so wonderful. All right, well, Joe, I appreciate you being here today. Thank you for sharing it. We're going to go ahead here real soon, and we're going to do our silver dollar rating system. So thank you again, and we'll be right back with you. Okay, this is the critical portion of the Eliances show. This is where we go ahead and we have the two hosts do the silver dollar challenge. On a scale of 1 to 5, on silver dollars, 5 being the best, they're going to be placing their coins down. So first, though, overall, Kevin, what did you think? I mean, you know, there's a lot of security companies out there in that. Certainly, it sounds very interesting what he has. What do you think?
I think it's very exciting. A white-hot space. I think they're attacking this, no pun intended, in a very different way than everybody else. So it's not about preventing. It's not about virus software. It's about when these things inevitably do happen, these guys are the team to make sure that there's a
What do you see the challenges being? What do you see the challenges?
There's a lot of challenges out there, I think, but I think the ability to quickly and efficiently respond to attack is a major part of the success of moving forward.
How fast you're going to be there, how fast to rectify the situation.
Sure.
Great. Don, I mean, boy, you know what, with the security and the scare that's out there, what do you think?
I give Kevin 5 coins for the way he described it. He's exactly right. This is very timely. It's needed, and I always look at everything as there a need. Is the need being filled? Is there money, and can you get paid? I believe this meets all of those challenges.
Okay, so here we go. Kevin, on a scale of 1 to 5 silver dollar coins, 5 being the best, what do you place?
I'm going to save the drama, go straight for the 5, because very, very impressive, huge market capability. These guys have an amazing team in place. I think they're going to be very successful.
Wow, very impressive.
Yep.
Okay.
Do you play poker?
Don, I tell you, here we go.
Okay.
5 being the best.
I think he did a wonderful job. He's excited about it. That's important. I think he understands completely, and the company understands exactly what the challenge is, so I give him 1 for that. I like the fact that they apparently have a terrific team together, and I give it the other 2 because I believe it's right on. This is what has to happen in the space today.
A perfect score today. Amazing, fantastic. Thank you again. Thank you to both of you for being here.
Thanks for having us. Oh, knuckle bump. All right, here we go.